Hello guys, in this video I will show you on how to add SQL Foreign Key Constraint to your tables. So, Foreign Key Constraint is used to prevent action that will destroy links between tables. Okay, so a foreign key is a field in one table that refers to the primary key in another table. So I'll be showing you on how to use foreign key in this video. Okay, so we'll be using the DB attendance, and then let's check the tables. So I already created the parent and the child table. So in here, the parent table is the TBL program and the child table is the TBL student. So the primary key of the TBL program will be added in TBL student as foreign key. So let's check the structure of the two tables. So let's check first the parent table. Describe TBL program. So here is the structure of the TBL program. So we have two columns or two fields, the ID and the code. The ID is the primary key of this table, and the code will be the used to store the codes of the different programs. Then let's check the TBL student. Describe TBL student. And here is the table student. So we have three columns: ID, first name, and address. So as you can see, we need to add a column here that will serve as foreign key of the TBL program. So we'll be adding a table, or we'll be adding a column using the alter table statement. Alter table, then TBL student, add the name of the column. So let us name it as FK program ID, and then the data type will be small int and the length is 6. So in setting up a foreign key, you need to make it sure that the data type of the primary key of the parent table is the same with the foreign key. So in here, the parent table, which is the TBL program, the primary key is ID, the data type is small int, and the length is 6. So it should be the same with the data type of the foreign key in the child table, which is small int 6, and the name of the column is FK program ID. So if you use different columns, you will be encountering an error later on. Okay, so do not forget to add a semicolon, then enter. So it was added to our table. So let's check the structure of the TBL student. Okay, so we added a column FK program ID small int 6. So now we need to link these two table using the FK program ID in TBL student and the ID of the TBL program. We need to add a foreign key constraint. So this will link the two table. Okay, to do that, you need to use the alter table statement again. Alter table TBL student, and then add constraint. Okay, be careful with the spelling. And then foreign key. And okay, so the name of the constraint, you can name it. So we need to insert the name of the constraint here. For example, FK program ID. This will serve as our identifier, or this will serve as the name of our constraint. Then foreign key. What will be the foreign key? The foreign key is the column on the child table, which is FK program ID. And then references the parent table. So references, you need to specify the parent table, which is TBL program, and then specify the primary key of the TBL program. And then we need to add constraint here, or additional property, which is the on update, meaning if you update the parent table, the ID of the parent table, what will happen? So you have an option here. So by default, you need to, or normally you need to set that as cascade. Okay, there are options, or 4 options. We have the cascade, set to null, no action, and restrict. So under update, we'll set that into cascade. So we will try to demonstrate that later on, or we will check the constraint of the two table. So another is on delete. So meaning if you delete the parent record, it will prompt you, or what will happen to the child record. Okay, so on delete, still the same option: restrict, no action, cascade, and set null. So on delete, we'll be setting it into restrict. So meaning, once you have a child record on that parent record, you cannot delete the record. Okay? So do not forget to add a semicolon, then enter. Okay, it was successfully created. We'll check the record of the parent table. So select asterisk from TBL program. Okay, so do not forget to the name of our table, which is TBL program. Enter. So there is a record which is BSIT. Then let's check the record of the TBL student. Okay, there's no record. So we'll be inserting a record on our TBL student. So insert into TBL student, and then first name, comma, address, comma, then the program of the student, FK program ID, and then values. Then for example, the first name is Jose, and the address is Quezon City, and the ID is 1. So since the value of the BSIT is 1, or the TBL program has only 1 record, so we'll just use the 1, okay, or the first record, and then semicolon, enter. So it was successfully added to our database, or to our table. So let's check the record. Okay, so we have 1 record here. So let's try to demonstrate the on delete constraint to our TBL student table. Okay, so we'll be deleting the the parent table or the record in our parent table. So we'll be deleting the record. So delete from TBL program where ID is equal to 1. Let's try. Since we added a constraint here that if you delete the record, it will restrict you. Okay, it will prevent you to delete the record if there is a child record related to that parent record. So in this case, BSIT has a record or child record or use in our TBL student. So let's try to delete that. So it will display an error that says that cannot delete or update a parent row, a foreign key constraint fails. So that's the good thing of setting a constraint. So it will prevent you from breaking the link of these two table. Okay, or it will help you to improve the integrity of the records. So let's try. How about the update? So let's update. Let's try to update the ID of BSIT. So for example, update table or update TBL program, set the value of the code or the value of the ID is equal to 2 where ID is equal to 1. So we'll be changing the ID or the value of the ID of the BSIT. We'll make it into, or we will change it into 2. Then hit the enter key. Okay, so we have changed the record. Okay, so query okay, one row affected. So let's check the content of the TBL program. So select asterisk from TBL program. Okay, so the ID or the value of the ID is 2. Then let's check the child table, the TBL student. Then enter. Then automatically the ID, the FK program IDO is also changed with a value of 2 since we changed the parent. So that's the purpose of the on update cascade. So if you change the value of the primary, then it will also update its child records. Okay, so that's all for the foreign key constraint. Thank you for watching. See you on our next videos.